Oh my gosh, this is so awesome. You are here. This is the final week. You have already done clearing on safe to feel I matter, which is so fundamental. And you've done your work gates on it. And we still got one more day. This is the rest and review where we really mine the gold. We really go back and mine the gold like we've done each week. So it's super, super important. But let's go back to day one when we were clearing on safe to feel like I matter. Safe to feel like I matter to mom and dad. How did that go? You've done so much energy work coming up to this, but matter, it's a fundamental pillar. It's a fundamental pillar. How did that go? Did you slow down the clearing? Did it feel like, oh my gosh, you gotta slow down? It's like, maybe you didn't slow down any of them, but this is the one that you slowed down. That's completely fine. That's not like, oh no, I failed. No, it's not at all. It's going at the speed it needs to go. It's just, it's such a these are so epically huge. There's not something bigger that you really can work on, really, because if it's safe to matter. I mean, if you don't have that, it's safe to matter, it's like, how do you even claim that you inherently matter? And how do you really even do anything without challenging that, always challenging that, which is gonna create super sabotage. But you're releasing that. So how cool is that? So how was day one? And then also that 4 to 12 hours after, what occurred? Did you end up slowing it down? Because the work gate's still going. 4 to 12 hours this whole time. Still keeps going. Did you get that? Do you remember that? Like, oh, that's right. It still keeps going. Oh, I keep forgetting that. Totally fine. Because when you go back with these reviews, you're tuning that back up. And you're talking to your unconscious. And your unconscious actually can go back. It's this really weird time travel and give you more from that clearing by going back a week later and recognizing what happened. It's super trippy. That's why this rest and review is so powerful, because we're doing it on all the previous ones. So super duper powerful. So just notice what happened. Anything that you get back is totally good. It's a positive. So now jumping to day two, this is where we cleared to our grandparents on our mother's side, right? Safe to feel like I matter, right? How did that go when you kicked them off? What did you feel going into it? And then what did you feel coming out of it? Because there could have been a whole myriad of like different possibilities, right? And just notice what showed up for that, right? And then what happened once you did the clearing, and then also that 4 to 12 hours after. Like really getting that in your unconscious or in your conscious mind, that your unconscious is doing this massive amount of energy work, right? And your unconscious is always paying attention to how you're responding. And now we're looking back of like, maybe there's some realizations that we were getting but didn't know we got. So that's what we're looking for. We're mining for those, because that's like super gold that we're picking up, right? Because besides getting that realization, we're also showing our unconscious that we're aware, that we're coming online. And then the unconscious is like, oh yeah, now we can turn it up and go even faster, even though it's going at such amazing warp speed. Okay, so that was day two. So now what was day three? Day three was safe to feel like I matter. And it was going to the energetic chains to the grandparents on our father's side, right? So how did that go, right? And we're also, just to remind you, hopefully that gives you a little awareness of like what your father, like what his lineage, what he was coming into and was placed upon him. Because we might feel like, oh, my parents put all this on us, but it was put upon them too. And we don't know how much they lifted. We don't really have clarity of how much they lifted. We can have an idea of like, wow, the intensity of the clearing, that when we get it, and it keeps getting deeper. The more you run in your mind, that you'll go deeper and deeper. We can get a glimpse, only a small glimpse, of what was put upon them. So we and then what they kind of reduced too, because in their whole process, they would reduce it, which then reduced it for the grandparents, which then you showed it. This work is so epic, and it can not just for yourself, but for your parents, and for your grandparents, and for your lineage, and then also people going forward. Super fantastic. Okay, enough with that. So day four, that was on our siblings or only child. How did that go? What was to feel like I matter? So that's a baseline battle with the siblings and like who matters more and all that. Because it's not who matters more. We inherently matter. We got to get that. All of us do that. But when you got all this energetic chaining, it's virtually impossible to do. So, but we're clearing that up, right? So how was that on day four with the siblings or our only child, right? It all depended on us. How did that go? Kicking it off, but then also that 4 to 12 hours after, because it's kind of that's the part where we just let it go. But now we're looking back of like, oh, What did I realize? And also what changed? What changed in our life? Now that we had some freedom around feeling like we matter, ooh, did we make some new decisions? Did new stuff show up of like, oh wow, this thing, I didn't know it bothered me, but man, does it bother me. But now we can make change on it versus it just ran in the background. And hopefully starting to see it like, oh my gosh, this stuff is starting to unwind. The future is starting to look really good. All those things I thought had to be this way, not anymore, not anymore. So then day 5, also a major big day, because first it's the non-biological parents and who showed up with the matter, feel like I matter. So more teachers show up, maybe an uncle, an aunt, grandparents show up in that part too. Like what showed up as a non-biological parent versus probably the ones that you've been running for this whole time, right? But did someone new show up, which then we can roll them back of like, hey, ask your unconscious of like, hey, do I need to run them with, because this is a matter of, being like that I matter, like the beingness of me matters. And you're like, oh, let's run that again. And no matter what you get, you could try it. I mean, the workouts are so fast. Just try it. And all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I don't feel anything. Run it. And like, whoa, I feel stuff. Whoa, I feel stuff. Okay, it was there. That's what's so fantastic. I mean, it gives you that immediate feedback where you get that. And maybe it takes 4 hours to kick in for you consciously to feel it. But that means your unconscious was going after it. And you still get to go about your day. So you can kick it off and still get all the benefits. Hence the super power of the work gates and why it's so important to build these connections so you come back and do them each day. Do your work gates each day, right? And then the self-referencing energetic chains, which, oh, that can be the explosion because you can still get all that building of matter, like that I feel like I matter, right? And unrelease that, but your self-referencing chains hold it all in. They're like, nope, not letting it go, not letting it go. And then whoo, you start clearing those and it's just like, whoa, warp speed, it's clearing faster than I thought. Because that can read up the backlog of all the stuff that you prepared. And then once you release your own attachment of like, you have to be that way, it shoots forward. So day 5 can be super powerful. And then day 6, oh my gosh, we do all of them again in one day. Hello. Super powerful. Luckily, we prepped it by doing them each day the previous week. If you just jumped into meditation, it's kind of like just overflows the funnel. It kind of doesn't really work. Versus when you did it each day, each specific one, it's almost like it widens the funnel. So then when you do it on the meditation, this is like, whew, your unconscious can go really deep, and maybe you still slowed it down, which is totally fine. It just means like you're going really deep, right? So what happened on your meditation and what new realization showed up on that day, just a day ago, because you're a day after that. You got all those realizations, all that change that happened that day. Now looking back, you can still have a new perspective. You can still have a new amazingness of you showing up, getting revealed of like, wow. No, it's still a little bit. I mean, you've been doing this course, at least 8 weeks of you being every day, just hitting it. Like, where were you 2 months ago? What were you could just go, we could spend hours on that. And maybe we'll make an extra bonus video for just going over the whole course. Let's do that because so much was gleaned in these 2 months. So much has changed. And I'm sure you felt that. It's radical, deep stuff has changed. Deep realizations have happened, but you're not done. This is just the beginning. There is so much ahead. There's definitely more vibration shift stuff, but just this, what you have right now, there's so much ahead. Like running it back again, like talking to your unconscious, be like, okay, what week do I need to repeat? Do I want to repeat now? Or going through the meditations and running each one of the, like week 1 meditation tomorrow, week 2 meditation the next day, week 3 meditation the day after that. And then it's like you're getting all 8 weeks compressed in 8 days. Oh, talk about powerful. And running that and run it deeper and really getting these on a super foundational level. So there's so much available. And also just use your unconscious mind. Right? You're building that connection of asking, okay, what's my next week? Do I do the whole week? Do I do just a certain one? Just get a sense of it. And you can't get it wrong because you're not going to hurt anything by just doing it, right? Just get a sense, oh, maybe I'll do it this week and see what happens. I'm going to do, day 3 from week 3. I'm going to do that one. That's the one I get, right? Because sometimes it's not just do the meditation where it has all of them. It could be because there's nuances in each one of those videos that your unconscious wants your conscious mind to hear again. So your conscious mind can hook up what your unconscious is trying to do. because your unconscious is going to put it all in place. And your conscious mind be like, oh my gosh, that's what it all is. Because your unconscious was setting it all up, just setting it up. And it's like, look, I just need you to listen to this video 3 from week 3 and look back. And once you hear it, Frank is going to give you a little bit of a story, a little bit of a nuance. That's going to pop it for you. You're going to look at it and be like, oh my gosh, it all comes together, right? And that's just you and your unconscious, because your unconscious has got it going on. You got so many gifts there. It's so many gifts. So use that. Use it as a tool. I mean, this is massive, powerful energy work. Your unconscious can help direct you, like, hey, what do you need to do next? Besides going on, besides all the stuff we've got for you at Vibration Shift, you still got a wealth of energy work right here that goes at super warp speed. So use that. Use your unconscious. I mean, this is because we did the systematic, and we want to do the systematic. These death programs, your unconscious is kind of like, I don't think we need to approach that. But now that we've gone there, we've cleared them, kind of taken the handcuffs off your unconscious mind, because kind of your conscious mind say, hey, we're not going to go in these places, and your unconscious is like, hey, I'll honor that. We've taken the handcuffs off, to where your unconscious can be like, hey, guess what? This is where we need to go next, and it's going to supercharge us. And we can be like, oh, really? Okay, let's go. Right? So this is what's available to you now. Like, you've done the foundational work. Now it's like, oh, super warp speed. So I hope you're getting this. You're excited. You're fired up. I hope you're starting to glean all this amazing change that you've created. It is so foundational, so deep. And I just have to honor you, because you've come this whole way. You've done the work. You kicked off the warp gates. The gifts you're bringing back to the planet, I'm sure, are off the charts and will continue that way. Like I like to say, until we talk again, have a blessed day or a blessed night.